Hello and welcome to the second. Just let me know. I'm sorry. Oh, great. Hello and welcome to the second Philadelphia Surge game and the second game for the Indianapolis Red. My name is Shaggy. I'm here with my esteemed colleague, Jaden Stoffel. Jaden, how are you doing today?
Very esteemed. Thanks, Shaggy. I've been looking forward to this all week. It's going to be really exciting to see the Surge for the second time at their home field. This is the first away game for Indy, and I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah, big game today. Both these teams tied for second, a half game back from the 2-0 gridlock. So this is really to decide who's going to vault up into first place. I think they'll take the point differential tiebreaker from New York gridlock. So whoever wins this game is in first place in the division.
Something I think is pretty interesting is I think this is the first time in league history that they're actually going to be playing each other.
That is wild. The Surge first season was last season, right? So they only played 6 games, only 6 opponents. It wouldn't make sense that there's probably a litany of teams they've never played, but that's an exciting first. You were at the Surge game last week. We watched the Indianapolis Red play Nashville. How do you think these two teams match up today?
I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they handle this very slight wind that's going on. I know the Surge home opener was incredibly windy. There was a lot of turnover just because discs were going all over the place, not where you were trying to go. But this is something that Indianapolis saw at their game against Nightshade. The game itself that Indy played against Nightshade was very close, with Indy leading most of the time, a final score of 15-13. So with the easier, there goes the first pull.
Yeah, we're off. They're pulling that Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. Looks like Danielle Walsh picking up the disc for Philadelphia. Gets it over to Dre. Back to Sarah Hironet. Sarah down the line to Shields. Philadelphia with the patient offense they debuted last week, Jaden.
They're definitely doing a good job of using all sides of the field, swinging back and forth. They're not afraid of making sure that they like the options they're going with.
Bova with the high release. Walsh elevating to grab it, and an easy score to Sarah Hironet. 1-0 Surge.
Not a bad way for Philadelphia for their week 4 of this league.
Yeah, that's the way that Philly plays, right? You don't need scores that are simple are worth the same amount as scores that are complicated. And Philly really likes to possess, and knock it in. We saw against Nashville, until the fourth quarter, really a high-flying offense for Indy, and then they reeled it back in, played very patiently, but a lot of turns and winning the disc back.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that Indy is trying to get good gameplay where their strategy is playing loose and being able to adapt with each opponent that they're facing. So I'm excited to see how they change as this game progresses.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we saw that quick point. It didn't seem like the wind bothered Philly. It'll be interesting to see how it plays with Indianapolis. They also were coming off a rather windy home opener, as they'll get their first chance at offense today. That disc to Abby Swenson. Abby Swenson, a deep cutter, big threat. Lauren Garrentzer now in the backfield for the Red. Looking for Rachel Mast.
Looking for that reset.
Suffocating defense from Raha. Gets it over to LG. High disc, dug out by Claire Skittles Milton.
Nice grab. That's a face that's going to be pretty familiar to a lot of our Philly fans. I believe Skittles played for Westchester Loco a couple years ago.
Rachel Mast down the line. Dug out by number 17, Kristen Dudley. Dudley sends it over to Shani Rosenthal, and just like that, it's tied 1-1.
Not a bad start to this game.
No, the Surge weren't tied from 0-0 last week, so already it's a closer game than we saw. Indy Red with some, I think, really tough runs from the cutters, but nothing clearly out of the reach of the players. They never dropped it. What do you think about the way they were able to attack the break side? We saw, that disc kind of went all the way down the break side, the near side to us, and then the score was arcing across the field.
I think they're doing a good job of making sure that when they're taking options, they're giving their thrower plenty of time to make the decisions, and that if they are looking at the downfield, they like what they're given.
Well, we've got a pull here from the Red as Makeda Mattymore, the captain, sends it. That'll be out of bounds, though. Danielle Walsh will tap it in at the brick. The captains today for the Indianapolis Red, Blake Vanderbush, Samantha Pukish, and Jackie Lai. And for Philadelphia, we have Bobby Roos, Joel Prussian, and Dave Baer.
Looks like we're back in play.
Danielle Walsh to Dre, Andrea DeSabato. Dre over to Walsh. We're going to say that a lot tonight, Jaden. Dre to Walsh to Dre to Walsh.
Yes, we are.
Shields with a knifing throw deep to number 9, Sarah Hironet on the doorstep. And Hironet with the quick flip to Natalie Bova. Another goal. 1 goal for Sarah Hironet, 1 assist.
Looks like Indy is not making it easy. Philadelphia does have to work hard in order to get these goals. Their defense is right there with them.
So, Jaden, you are primarily a handler, and it's not that you're not fast, as we see this, as you see this great grab from Sarah Hironet and the patience to wait until the cutter got open. But Dre and Walsh are not getting open with their speed. It's really timing and angle. So how do you, if you're not necessarily fast in your defender, play that angle perfectly to get open in the reset space?
I think something that people forget every now and then when it comes to, particularly handler offense, is that it's not always about being more athletic than the person who's on you. It's about outthinking them. It's about being able to position your body in a way that, say you're going up line, they're out of position when it's time for you to take the steps that you're trying to take. Being able to outwork, be able to make sure that what you're doing is efficient, it's in the way of your defender so they can't make the moves they want to do to prevent you from making your moves. That's kind of where the focus should be.
No turns yet in this game. Kristen Dudley duds with the disc for Indy. Looking to follow up their first hold with a second. Duds in the backfield. Gets it up to Swenson, but just as I say no turns, we have one through the hands.
Just off the fingertips. It's always a rough time.
Well, Philly's D-line will put it in. They really ran the show against Milwaukee 2 weeks ago. It's number 15, Lane Dodge with the disc. Dodge to Sarah Liang, the block leader for the Philadelphia Surge. Liang to the captain. Captain hook, Lindsay McKenna finds Raha Mozafari in the backfield. Raha to Lindsay. Lindsay with that cast on her dominant hand. Lane Dodge on the doorstep. And it's Lane Dodge to Emma Soilis for a Surge break. What'd you see there, Jaden?
Every now and then when I'm watching the field and I see Lindsay McKenna playing in that cast, it reminds me of just, if there's ever a moment where you're injured, practice your offhand. Like in the game that she had, the home opener, beautiful backhand huck that went up for her with her left hand. And I'm just thinking about how all these college kids are like, who needs a lefty backhand? They're young, they're trying to work on their righty flick. But you could injure your immediate, your dominant hand, and you can still be very useful, very calm, and strategic on the field.
That's right. Well, now we see why. Throws like what Lindsay was putting on there. Let's see if we can get this in quickly before the point starts. Gina Weary of Remax Ready is proud to be the featured title sponsor for the 2024 Surge season. Gina is an expert realtor helping home buyers and sellers achieve their goals over the last 18 years. Gina serves clients in all the surrounding counties, including Philadelphia. Gina is a longtime Ultimate player and fan, starting her own Ultimate career in 1990, before I was born, Jaden. She has won FBSL Summer League 4 times, is a 2-time PATA board member, and her club career highlight was helping take the Philly Peppers to USAU club semifinals. You can find her at GinaWeary.com, Gina, WHERRY.com. Skittles Milton going deep. Tracked down by number 32, Shani Rosenthal. Rosenthal over to Swenson.
Right on the goal line.
On the goal line, not quite in. Good reset to Lauren Gerentzer. Gerentzer to Swenson. Playing the two-person game, just nicely, patiently controlling that disc. An easy score is worth the same as a hard score. Gerentzer up the line to Swenson, and it's an Indy Red. A quick hold to settle themselves.
What a beautiful grab for the goal.
Yeah, you got to extend. I always wonder about that grab because it's coming from the left side, but I guess it would be a very difficult throw to get with the left hand. I feel like if you could just stab that out of the air with your left hand, you wouldn't have to extend at all. It goes right past your left shoulder. Got to reach out with your right hand. Maybe it'd be a tricky left-handed catch. It's tough to say.
It's definitely been nice watching both teams take full advantage of their handlers. Good reset movement, getting that disc, making sure it's not stagnant on the field.
Yeah, we see that very different from 2 weeks ago. Red is definitely here to play. I mean, that first break aside, these holds have been patient, precise offense, ready to execute on the field against the team that right now leads the league in points allowed.
What a beautiful pull.
Handler Bova gets it over to Walsh. Indy out here in a zone. Last week we saw the zone give Philly some trouble as Natalie Bova needs to extend for that. Dre running through the cup, gets it to Rachel Alfano. Andrea DeSabato back to Natalie Bova. Bova to Dre. That disc tipped by number 42, Kelly Kirker, but still with Philadelphia. I don't know about you, Jaden. I love zone offense.
I must admit, watching zone, oh, there's a turn.
Yes, knocked away by Mary Timmons. A quick D in the cup, and Indy has a chance for a break.
Fun fact about Mary Timmons, she might play left-handed for ultimate, but in her everyday life, right-handed.
Well, it's a push pass from Lauren Kitten to Kelly Kirker, and Indy breaks right back. That zone paying immediate dividends.
We're tied 3-3.
Tie game, a beautiful defensive stand, and incredible offense. As we watch the team celebrate after that break in the replay. It is easy to play offense on a short field, but it's important to keep that disc. And the lefty push pass for a score, you don't see that every day.
This is definitely shaping up to be a very exciting game to watch for our spectators here today.
Yeah, Philly always has a big crowd, which is exciting. Something that I was wondering about, we see neither team splitting the sideline. Everybody is on the sideline closest to us. I do wonder if that makes it tricky as the crowd gets bigger. That noise becomes to play a factor.
Looks like Surge is trying to get the disc moving a little faster than they did in the previous point. Oh, broken through the cup.
Yes, it's Rachel Alfano to Sarah Hiranet. Hiranet back to Alfano. Alfano to Liz Hart for a goal. The Surge hold.
Here we are with More Than Movement is a proud game day sponsor of Philadelphia Surge and the official training partner for our team. MTM is a physical therapy and sport performance practice located in Northern Liberties. Nick, owner of, Nick Perugini, owner of MTM, is a doctor of physical therapy and has been working with athletes across Philadelphia, including more than 50 elite ultimate players since 2018. Nick is passionate about helping people from all walks of life get back to things they love or raise their performance to the next level. Schedule a free one-on-one consultation at morethanmovement.com and come check out the expanded home of MTM in Northern Liberties neighborhood of Philadelphia.
More Than Movement, movement spelled MVMT. That's right. And speaking of trainers, we have our own trainer here today, Josh McCune, does an incredible job making sure the athletes on the field are healthy.
Looks like we're a little bit past half field.
Great pull as the Indy offense comes back out. Number 91, Samantha Phillips, putting it in. Gets it to Claire Skittles Milton. That big lefty backhand. Milton over to Swenson on the sideline. Swenson up to Shani Rosenthal. Shani Rosenthal going deep. And it's Rachel Mass pulling it down in the back of the end zone for another red hold. Great deep look and deep throw from Indianapolis, taking advantage of the deep space. You don't need to be patient when you can put throws on a platter to cutters as opened as Mass is here.
What a beautiful jump Scott for that score.
Right, and if she missed it, Skittles was in the area, so 2 for 1. Both teams playing great offense here. What can the defenses do to apply more pressure?
I mean, there's always the mentality of you got to win with your legs, pushing yourself harder, trying to stay one step ahead of what your offense is doing is, always the first step you're trying to take as the defense. Looks like the pull is ending just short of half field.
Something we saw last week, Philly was able to get a lot of work out of their pulls. I'd like to see some longer pulls from the Red, make Philly work it greater distance. Danielle Walsh finds Natalie Bova. Bova to Andrea DeSabato. DeSabato to Liz Hart. Liz Hart with the dad backhand over to Emily Shields. Shields back to Hart. Shields racing up line. Great peel and defense there by Brianna Burris. But it's the next cut. Natalie Bova up the line for the goal.
Great movement by Serge.
Great movement. Something we saw in that Red game, it was going to be interesting to see how it plays out tonight. Indy played really tight defense on the Nashville handlers. Great rolls, as we'll see here. This first cut from Shields down the line, Brianna Burris rolls off to defend, and it's the second, the follow-up upline cut that Philly is finally able to score on. If they can continue to pressure the handlers like they were able to in Nashville, I think that's one area that the Red can really attack the serve.
Definitely agree.
And on the flip side, we saw the same thing from Philadelphia. Yana Graham, Sarah Liang, 2 players that played phenomenal handler defense. Liang had 2 hand blocks in that game against Milwaukee. So both these teams defensively very aggressive on the handlers.
I think Liang is currently leading Surge with blocks this season based off of their home opener.
4 blocks in the home opener, making her the blocks leader. That's correct. Lane Dodge with the pull. This pull lower to the ground ends at the same spot as the Red pull.
We're just loving that little half field mark.
I think it rolled backwards too. This might have been less distance overall. But Indianapolis comes to pick up the disc. Kristen Dudley overthrows Skittles Milton. And it is Philadelphia, their second opportunity for a break. As Raha Mozafari goes to pick up the disc. That's my dentist, Jada. Raha with a quick throw over to Sarah Liang.
Indy's staying tight.
Kat Harper with the disc and a call downfield, pick call. Skittles gets to catch up. Kat Harper back to Liang. Sarah Liang to Emma Soilis. Just through the hands of Rachel Mast. Soilis founds Raha Mozafari. Raha going deep. And it's Liang all alone on the doorstep. Soilis popping that backhand up. And it's a layout from Lane Dodge for the goal.
Way to get on the ground.
Another surge break. A collision with Raha off to the far sideline, but it seems like everyone's okay. And what a play from Lane.
We are singing it again. Oh, what a beautiful time. There she is looking for her reset. Might have been a little less windy today than it was at the last home opener. You can see the disc had popped up a little bit from the breeze. Beautiful layout from Lane.
Yeah, and I almost think, honestly, that if that's a good throw from Emma, that disc gets D'd, and great defensive pressure by Indy. And because that disc pops up and Lane is able to adjust to it, I think that's the only reason that goal happened. That's the only place it could have been a score.
Definitely having a fun time watching Indy's really tight defense. They're doing a beautiful job of staying with the person they're on.
Yeah, phenomenal defensive pressure from Indy, absolutely. We have a number of people that are absent from both teams today. No Sumi Onoe, no M. Moeller, no Grace Maroon. I believe they're all at college regionals, so unable to attend. They were key pieces of the victory last week. And from Indy, no Tilo, no Mia Hernandez, no Sydney Olin, one of their captains. So both teams kind of having to adjust to the rosters today. Kelly Kirker with the disc for Indianapolis.
Looks like Serge is doing a little bit of a poachy, maybe a junk defense on Indy.
92, Chuck Wilson with the disc in the backfield. Charlotte Wilson. And a big bid from Risa Umeno, digs it out of the dirt. Some miscommunication there, but able to find it. No dirt, I guess. It's all turf. Risa Umeno with the disc now, with the feed from Kelly Kirker. Finds Charlotte Wilson. Wilson with that beautiful inside flick to Mary Timmons. Timmons back to Umeno. Yana Graham from Philadelphia making Risa Umeno work for it as Timmons goes deep. But it's Captain Hook in the area. Lindsay McKenna knocking it down with the healthy hand.
Yeah, a great put, but a great deed follow-up.
Sarah Liang to Lindsay McKenna. Lindsay to Yana Graham. Big bid from Risa Umeno. Won't come up with it. And now it's Casey going deep, but too far for Jess Brand. And Indianapolis recovers.
Heard a whistle.
Call on the field. The observers today are Dahlia Weinstein, Chris Zaleski, Chris Vanny, and Joe Campbell. Injury call. That's the call on the field. So Benish Benjamin will come off for Philadelphia, replaced by Emma Soilis. And Indianapolis will advance the disc to the goal line. A minute 50 left in the PUL. Time does not stop play. So when the time expires, the team with possession will maintain possession until either a turn or a score. As we could get down to it if this point takes a while. That throw pops up for Risa Umeno, but still finds the hands of Lauren Kitten. And Timmons' throw knocked away by Jess Brand. Unable to find Kelly Kirker. And now it's Liang with the disc for Philadelphia. Sarah Liang to Yana Graham. Graham back to Liang. Liang surveys. A break throw to Emma Soilis. Hugging this near sideline, Jaden.
Does seem like both teams are doing a great job of using the break space, but not being afraid to swing it right back over to the open side.
Another throw from Emma Soilis that catches the wind, but this time no heroic bid to save it. Indy will take over with a minute left in the first quarter.
Since we're down to 50 seconds, they're walking back up to the goal line.
That's right. This is a big possession for Indy. If they can hold here, get the score, they should get the disc to start the second quarter. With a chance to tie it, but Yana Graham knocks it away! A first throw turnover disaster for the Red. And Surge take over. Alley to Sarah Liang, back to Milligan, over to Emma Soilis. Swenson falls down, and Soilis with the low throw and a diving grab from Yana Graham. The bookends for Yana.
Beautiful playing on the part of Yana.
Incredible defensive pressure. We were just talking about that from last week. I've never had long hair. You have. Does it slow you down at all? Or you don't really feel it.
Funny enough, I do feel like that is a person-by-person basis. Some people don't notice it at all. Other people, the second that it gets too long, you can feel it as you're running. I must say that her hair is beautiful and does not seem to slow her down in the slightest. She is by far so fast, you can't even see her sometimes on the field. She's just sprinting.
That's true. I've had the privilege of playing with Yana, one of the few people I've never been able to overthrow. So really an excellent speedster on that end of the disc. And Emma Soilus, another opportunity to throw it into the end zone, that time made sure that disc was not popping up. We've got 20 seconds left in the quarter, Jaden, and time does not stop play. So when that clock expires, Indy's going to want to be holding the disc. They definitely want to score here. I mean, you always want to score, obviously. But going into the quarter break, down by 2 and getting the disc is a lot better than being down by 3 and getting the disc.
Definitely.
Philly again poaching as Dudley and Lauren Garanser play the handler game. Garanser with the disc in the backfield.
Buzzer went off. We're just finishing out the possession.
Dudley with a rocket, a miscommunication, and Emma Soilus will close the quarter with a D. 7-4 surge lead. Well, Jaden, we're going to take a quick quarter break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a legend of Philadelphia Ultimate. If you're watching this at home, don't go anywhere, and we will see you in a little bit.
All right, and we are back with the second quarter of this Surge versus Indy Red game. We are here with Gina Weary, a local legend for Philadelphia. Gina, we have a question from local player Zachary Hunt, age 30. He asks, if an animal was going to play Ultimate, which animal would be the best?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. I would have to say a cat. I think that cats have the reflexes that you need in Ultimate, where you've got to suddenly, leap or dive or turn the other way. So I think I'd say, a cat that can really jump.
I definitely agree with you there. Ultimate requires a lot of versatility, a lot of athleticism, and if there's one animal I think of that has the ability to adapt and the flexibility for Ultimate, it is probably a cat.
I have two, so I they're fresh in front of my mind.
Oh, it looks like they just got a big D potential call on the field. And Gina, you definitely have your own plethora of experiences in the Ultimate world, the Ultimate community. A huge player yourself. If these kind of opportunities, like the professional leagues, all the different opportunities there, where would you see yourself in terms of, would you see yourself trying to be on a field like this, playing games?
Yeah, I've kind of often, fantasized about that, to be honest. I would say, back in the mid-90s to early 2000s, more in my prime as a player, I, would have loved, dreamed about, Ultimate being an Olympic sport, right? So, this is like that step, right, to being an Olympic sport, I think, and it should be. It's one of the most cardiovascular sports out there with a team. There's just so much skill involved, and I think that if I had the opportunity, I don't know if I'd make the team. I know a lot of my teammates would, because there were some great players, great Philly women players in the 90s, and certainly, all, if not, some of them, or if not all, would be in a setting like this, playing on the field professionally.
Just a quick update for our watchers online. A score from Indy Red after a couple calls. Beautiful throw. A lot of people from all sorts of walks of life are brought into Ultimate, either by the community or by the sport. What really draws you into the game? What's kept you around for so long?
I think of the excitement of it. I've done some coaching too, and I find myself after a day of coaching, it's I want to play more, because you've had that opportunity to be on the sideline and really look at it and teach it and coach it to young players, and then it just something kind of wells up in you, I can't wait to play again. So I'd say just love the game. I've played other sports, and it's true. It combines a lot of other sports that we've played, and I guess it's called Ultimate. It's so many facets to it. And when you played, whether it's a rec league or club level or pro level like this, I think that it's different each time at those different levels. Right? So you play a summer league game differently than you do a club game. So I think it makes you adjust, and it just keeps it so fun and interesting. Strategy-wise, you have to come up with different strategies, so that's cool too. I'm into the strategies.
Definitely makes games like the one today interesting. As we can see, Indy's doing a bit of zone defense again. They're doing a good job of making our handlers work as they press through that cup. Yeah, I definitely get what you mean about how I feel like there's always something else you can think about or change with your Ultimate experience.
And the conditions, right? Maybe they can be zone because it's getting, I see the trees blowing over there. Maybe it's getting a little more windy down on the field, and they're making that adjustment, and Indianapolis is putting it on to maybe try to get them to turn it over.
Looks like there's a call on the field. It looks like there's a pick. Anyway, we are so happy that you were able to take some time to talk to us. Thanks again, Gina.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Great. I'm thankful for the community.
That's Gina Weary, our featured title sponsor. Gina from Remax Ready, Gina Weary. Oh my gosh, GinaWeary.com. WHEROY. Gina, thank you so much. We saw another zone defense from Indianapolis. The surge cutting through it this time, although there was some hectic moments there as Emily Shields popped one up to Liz Hart, had to toe the line. But now we're back. Indy looking for an opportunity to score again out of the quarter.
It's definitely a much closer game than what we saw at the last surge home game.
Yeah, and I think this is sort of what Indianapolis imagined. I think they're probably looking to slingshot, gain some momentum, and pick up the lead. And we'll see if they can do it on this possession. Kirsten Dudley in the middle of the field with the disc. Moving it forward to Laura Gerentzer. Gerentzer and Dudley have really run the show in the backfield for Indianapolis so far this evening.
I've really enjoyed watching the surge players with this sort of sagging, poaching, handler defense, watching to see what Indy does with it.
Well, it's Emily Schloniger on the far sideline. That is the danger of the poach. If you get moving through, you can often run past that layer of defense. Kirsten Dudley on the sideline for the Red, finds Rachel Mast. Indianapolis is moving here. Schloniger back to Dudley. Dudley over to Gerentzer. Gerentzer, Dudley, Dudley, Gerentzer, Gerentzer, Dudley. They can't be stopped, Jaden. Oh, Raha trying to stick her hands in between Gerentzer's to no avail. Kirsten Dudley finding it and looking deep over the head of Philadelphia, and that's an Indianapolis Red hold.
I just love watching throws like that. That arc through the air, carving out the exact path it needs to avoid the Philadelphia defender straight into the hands of Indiana.
That's
and
right.
We're on the replay.
Schloniger with the grab, Schloniger with the goal. This is an excellent job to find space in the backfield through all those sagging defenders, just over the outstretched arms of Emma Soilers, who can get up there.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
You know, and these end zones are huge. You stand in the end zone, and you look around, you barely see one end to the other. So being able to find space like that is a crucial part of Ultimate. It's how you score. Now we're seeing downwind pulls much further.
Oh, yes. Wind's not crazy here, but it's definitely enough. You can see the effect it has on the disc, depending on which direction they're going.
Indianapolis sticking with their zone, despite the mixed results that it's had so far this evening, although they have gotten turns with it. So I guess it's working as well as anything, right?
Definitely. And it definitely seems like Surge is having to think, having to push through and work a little harder than they would if it was person defense in this slightly gusty, little breezy weather we're having this evening.
Slightly gusty, little breezy. Natalie Bova with the disc. And these Indianapolis Red defenders are just flying in. We saw Laura Kitten take off that Shields cut. It's really hard to do anything other than swing the disc. Bova with it now. Natalie Bova finds Andrea DeSabato. DeSabato to Danielle Walsh.
As a lot of people know, working with zone, there's a lot of different ways you can attack it. Oh, call in the field. A
travel call. Interesting call. You're really not allowed to call travel on lefties, so I'm surprised they let that one go, but I'm just kidding, obviously. Call's a call. Lefties travel as much as righties. You're just looking at the wrong foot, you know. We need that disc to get back in. Walsh with it. Danielle Walsh will tap it in for Philadelphia. Knocks it back to Andrea DeSabato. And another swing cut off by Indianapolis. These Red defenders. This zone is fierce, Jade.
Definitely. Surge is going to have to be patient.
Over the head of Brianna Burris. And Fast count called on the mark. The stall needs to drop. No dropping of stalls. Andrea DeSabato calls a violation. Actually, I think it was contact. Either way, that'll reset the stall count to 0. And finally, we see a cutter with the disc. Rachel Alfano back to Andrea DeSabato. And a blade over to Liz Hart.
Indy's definitely not making it easy on these surge players.
No, not at all. Not at all. Andrea DeSabato needs to find someone soon. Stall count rising, finds Rachel Alfano. I think a lot of it also is the work Mary Timmons is doing and that straight up mark. You can see once we can get it away from Timmons, Liz Hart going deep to Shields.
A little floaty.
But Shields so far out ahead of the pack, comes up with it. And now it's Liz Hart to Hiranet, and it's another hold for Sarah Hiranet. And after all that effort, Philadelphia scores, but a lot of opportunities for Indy to get their hands on.
Definitely. Zone makes people play very patient. You have to look for your opportunities and rely on your resets, and Indy made Philadelphia do that.
Yeah, speaking of things you make people do, birthday parties. My Best Birthday is a proud game day sponsor of Surge. Hosts Reed DeSabato and Matt Cherokee and Jason Worley are your one-stop shop for hosting the best events for you, your family, and your friends. They offer archery tag, DJ dance parties, inflatables, Nerf battles, sports and games, parties, tactical laser tag, and more. My Best Birthday is here tonight, helping host and entertain you and your families. Find Reed or Matt tonight or book your best event at mybestbday.org. Of course, to find them tonight, you would have to close out of the stream and drive down to the stadium, but you should. The stands are once again packed. Last game, I think we had 800 people here, David.
Sounds right to me.
I counted every single one on my fingers. It was hard, because I only have 10 fingers.
They just have to keep going more as you count it up.
Samantha Phillip with the disc. Yana Graham rotating entirely around that mark. Garenser back to Timmons. Timmons to Duds. Dudley to Timmons. Indianapolis, a lot of swings, but not putting the disc in harm's way. That's what you have to do against aggressive defenses, is wait until they give you an opportunity. That disc knocked away by Swenson, but right back into the Reds' hands, and they'll maintain possession.
Really happy with all the patience that both teams have been showing today, particularly Indy.
Claire Skittles-Milton with the lefty flick. Not as powerful as the lefty backhand. It dies. Yana Graham with another block. And by dies, I just mean, sinks to the ground quickly. Quicker than Skittles would have liked. Sarah Liang with the disc for Philadelphia finds Emma Soilis. Low throw by Soilis, caught by Jess Brand. Brand back to Liang. And Liang looking deep for Emma Soilis. It's a foot race, and Emma's going to win it. Swenson in pursuit. And it's Emma Soilis to Yana Graham again. The connection tried and true. Philadelphia with the break.
Yana was wide open. Beautiful follow by Surge teammates after that huck went up. And we'll see it again.
Yeah, what a throw. Emma Soilis is a fast receiver, so able to put her out into space to find the disc.
Two options, Yana and Lindsay. Only one of them covered. Well done for Surge.
Hard to cover two people as one defender.
Right. Two places at once. Not in the skill set of most of us.
Oh, man, wouldn't that be impressive? Well, we've got a timeout on the field, and that gives me a good chance to talk about my dentist. My very own dentist, Dr. Raha Mozafari, or Dr. M as she's referred to by her clients, has been a practicing dentist since 2013. She recently purchased her own practice, Fishtown Dentistry, in 2021 and has been serving the Philly Ultimate Community's teeth and smiles for years. Raha and her team are accepting new clients at their Fishtown location. Find out more at fishtowndentistry.com and give one of her lovely patient coordinators, Lisa or Jordan, a call or shoot them a text at 215-739-2543. If you can't find Raha in the office, catch her on the field, repping number 4. Would you like to hear a funny story about me and the dentist office in Raha knows one?
I would love to hear that.
So I went to an appointment, and it was during World's tryouts, and Raha got to go to World's tryouts. And I was there, and the very nice patient coordinators, either Lisa or Jordan, asked me, "Oh, are you going to tryouts this weekend?" And I didn't know what they were talking about. I thought maybe they meant Surge. And I said, "No, I can't try out for Surge. It's not for me." And they said, "No, for World's tryouts." And I said, "No, Raha is one of the best players in the world, and I'm just some guy." And they said, "I don't know, she's really nervous." And I said, "She's nervous that she's going to make the best players in the World's team. I am, again, just some guy." Raha did make the World's team. So it was a happy ending for everybody but me. I guess me too, my teeth are clean.
One of the best World players, one of the best dentists. Especially if you're in Philadelphia, check her out. Your teeth look lovely, Shaggy.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice of you to say. I've been complimenting on my teeth. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll keep talking. Nobody could see them on the stream.
You'll just have to take my word for it. He's got a lovely smile.
Thanks, Jimmy. This is something that we saw in the game against Milwaukee. We saw last year. The Surge had the best defense in the league last year. And when they started playing defense, their breaks tended to come in bunches. And it's really important now. Obviously, it's always important to score. But the Red cannot afford to have this slide continue into the second half. They need to score, and they need to score now.
It's definitely a much closer game than what we saw against Milwaukee, but a further game than what Indiana saw against Nightshade. So you're definitely right. They need to stop this slide and get closer in that scoring.
Yeah, stop the bleeding. As you've got Phillips on the near sideline. Philadelphia running out their own zone. I didn't like their zone 2 weeks ago. It's one of the only times that Milwaukee was able to score. Skittles on the far sideline. The high release over to Rachel Mast. Rachel Mast has had a tough time in this game compared to last game getting open. Indy would like to activate her more. Dudley in the backfield. Low throw to Swenson. Swenson going deep to Skittles. And Skittles reaching back for it with the grab. Usually we see that the other way around, but this time it's Swenson to Skittles. And the Reds score, just like we told them to, Jaden.
They must have heard us.
They must have heard us. Someone's got an earpiece and is watching the stream. Well, it's a minute 24 left, a 10-7 Surge lead. As we get another look at this beautiful backhand from Swenson to Milton.
As you can see, Indy's been doing a great job of making sure they are stretching that field, providing opportunities like the one we saw here. Oh, that arch leading back. Beautiful grab.
Sarah Liang was coming in hot. Milton had to overrun it a little bit, and to be able to reach back over, my back hurts just watching it.
We are a word from one of our supporting sponsors, PADA. Enjoying the action? You too can be an ultimate player with the Philadelphia Area Disc Alliance. Since 1985, PADA has been running co-ed recreational ultimate leagues throughout the year in Philadelphia, Delaware, Chester County, and South Jersey. Join the fun at PADA.org, PADA.org.
We've got an offsides call, which means that Philadelphia gets to bring the disc up wherever they want. Just kidding. But they will put it in at half field.
That would be quite the rule.
You get to do whatever you want.
Right?
Sometimes Frisbee seems that way. It's Danielle Walsh to Rachel Alfano. Alfano to Hart. And Philly already knocking on the doorstep. Danielle Walsh to Andrea DeSabato.
Really working up that break side.
Big bladey flick from Walsh. And it's DeSabato with the high release over to Natalie Bova for the score. All break throws all day for Philadelphia.
Definitely a good job of Surge breaking that mark. It looked like more or less the same throw over and over again. Indy just not able to stop it for this point.
It's tough. the release points that Walsh and Andrea DeSabato are able to use on some of these throws. Just the step back flick from Walsh for the break side. And then this just like a high release OI backhand over the mark's hands. And Risa Umeno was prepared for it. You saw her hands start to shoot up, but Drake too quick on the backhand release. Puts it in for the score. .7 seconds left. Excellent fingers by Colin McIntyre, our scorekeeper today, stopping us right on the .7 seconds. Kick us in. Just like in the first quarter, the second quarter time, the time does not end the quarter. So if the team has it and time expires, they will continue to play until either they turn it over or they score.
I really like that rule. I feel like it helps teams make sure they're making good decisions, making the plays they should instead of trying to shove something in.
Well, speaking of making the plays they should instead of shoving something in, Kirsten Dudsley too far for Shani Rosenthal. And a timeout will be called to sub in whoever they want. It's perfect. In professional ultimate, you're allowed to make substitutions out of the timeout. Philadelphia will probably use this opportunity to sub on their O-line. And we're going to use this opportunity to learn about Aquavita.
Aquavita offers classes that combine stand-up paddleboarding with yoga, fitness, and more, featuring fun themes, styles, and tunes for the ultimate test of balance. Classes are available outdoor at the waterfront and Penn's Landing, and indoors at the Level 20 building in University City. Learn more or sign up for a class at aquavita.com and use code SURGE for a 10% discount.
It's exciting. I love being in the water. This does sound like an exciting activity that I would partake in. Except I don't know how to swim.
You float like a rock?
I do. I do know how to swim. I don't know how to float. That's a good point. Philly putting the disc in. Their full offense gets to come out. No time constraints. It's 2 seconds. I mean, once this disc gets tapped in, the quarter will end. I feel like this is the dream for Danielle Walsh and Andrea DeSabato, the main handlers for Philadelphia, to walk down the field as many throws as they need, a captive audience. What could be better?
There's the buzzer.
The flip over to Andrea DeSabato. DeSabato finds Liz Hart. Down to Rachel Alfano. Alfano needs somebody, gets Natalie Bova. Handler Bova has been a revelation this season as Emily Shields going deep.
Wow.
Knocked away by Abby Swenson, and that'll take us to half. What a run by Abby Swenson to get back in that play. Rachel Alfano, one of the faster players on the surge, had steps, and Abby Swenson hunted that disc out of the air, knocks it away, and instead of a 12-7 lead, it will be just 11-7, a 4-point game as we head to the second half.
Nicely done blocking that score. Beautiful end for Indy Red.
Yeah, so we saw the wind picked up a little bit. I don't think that had anything to do with the throw. What are you expecting to see in the second half for Indianapolis to get back in the game?
I think it'll be interesting to see if their defense continues to do a bit of zone. It seems to have a bit of mixed results, but definitely keeps that disc further back in the handler set, forcing Surge to be very patient with it. The more that they keep tight on their person, they're hunting down these discs as they go up for Surge offense. I'm really just excited to see if Indy's going to win this with their legs, with the effort and intensity they can put in for this.
Yeah, it's tough on the road for a team to come all the way to Philadelphia and outrun Philly, but that's kind of what we saw at the end of that half. They've still got the juice in those legs, and they're going to need it as we head to the second half. We're going to throw you to break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in about 8 minutes.
started working with Gina because we had heard nothing but good things from our friends that had worked buying and selling homes with her already. She's very knowledgeable. When you go through the home, you know that she is looking for things that you might not think of. She'll get her little phone flashlight out and look at the ceiling in the basement to check the electrical work for you. She knows resale value of homes. So when you're buying, what to consider. She'll look at the interior aspects, exterior aspects. You can just tell she's very knowledgeable and has done this for many years. We are proud to have Gina Weary as a sponsor and official realtor of the Philadelphia Surge. We are very appreciative of the support she's given us so far and the support that she gives the Philadelphia Ultimate community.
Very honored to sponsor Surge, to be a part of this growth in women's professional ultimate. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's great to see, since I started playing in 1990, which is a long time ago, to see this develop, it is kind of a dream.
VC Ultimate, the official uniform sponsor of Philadelphia's Surge and the Indianapolis Red, VC proudly puts community over profit, focusing their support on initiatives that help promote inclusivity. As the first ever sponsors to back professional women's and gender-expansive Ultimate, VC puts its money where its mouth is when it comes to equitable action.
So I got a sponsored jersey this year, Jaden. Dre Esparza from the Austin Torch, because I really like the color orange. It's a VC jersey, one of the nicest articles of clothing I have.
You know, a lot of the player-sponsored jerseys are so cool to look at. The designs that people come up with for all these different teams in the league, honestly, they're just beautiful. They're beautiful to see. They're beautiful to watch the crowd. And I bet they're fun to design, too.
Yeah, a blast. If I had any talent at all, you better believe I'd be submitting design. So 11-7. We got a minute to go during halftime. Minute about Philly with the 4-goal lead. How does Philly, we talked about how Red can get back into it. What does Philly need to do to maintain this lead and keep up the intensity?
Honestly, if we keep seeing Philadelphia trust their resets, trust their players on the field, making those good decisions and waiting for the throw that they want to throw, a good opportunity and not forcing it up the field, that's really what's going to help them continue this lead.
That's true. That's a great point. We were talking to our scoreboard guy, Colin McIntyre, and he said something very interesting about the Indy defense, which is that Dre, Andrea DeSabato, and Danielle Walsh are very good players. And it's easy when you're playing against good players to say you're going to sag off, you're going to contain them, and Indy purposefully has chosen not to do that. They are attacking them in the backfield. They're playing tight, and they're making it as difficult as we've seen from them in any game besides the shadow game last year. Indianapolis coming out on defense again. Do you think we're going to see more of that same defensive pressure that we saw in the first half?
I'm hoping so. It's honestly been so fun just watching them put that pressure on, keeping up the intensity, and forcing their opponents to really think through their options, making it much harder than it would be otherwise without putting that pressure on them.
Absolutely. Well, Risa Umeno with the disc for the Red, getting set to pull to kick us off into the second half. Both teams searching for first. Winner of this game is going to vault themselves into that first place spot. And the loser is going to fall all the way to third. I guess second to third is not that big a fall, but
there's the pull in the second half.
DeSabato over to Walsh. Indy coming out in their contained zone. Walsh just wandering through the cup. Kelly Kirker, Mary Timmons in that cup. Shields on the sideline, back to Walsh. 14, Brianna Burris, kind of filling out that attack squad for the Red. Is Natalie Bova now with the disc, shooting through the cup to Rachel Alfano. Bumped by Burris. Back to Bova.
It's been a lot of fun watching Indy keep Philadelphia in this sort of backfield, looking for those opportunities to push through like they just have.
Alfano through the cup. Here in that to Hart. Liz Hart to Danielle Walsh. Philly's running now down the field, trying not to let them set back up, and Indianapolis goes to Person. Timmons on Natalie Bova.
Pick called on the field. Looks like it was on that upline cut from Walsh.
That is the least called pick in Ultimate, and it's the most important one to call. If the mark or the person with the disc rubs you off, it's still a pick. Danielle Walsh to Liz Hart for the goal. A little too easy for Philadelphia there.
Definitely seems like with the end of that point, there's a lot of upline cuts, a lot of cuts right to that space right in front of the throw. Here we are, we're going to see replay.
Natalie Bova finds Walsh, and Walsh with these quick turnaround upline 90-degree in front of the hand, their cuts, very difficult to defend.
Looks a little bit like two double cuts, back to back, but a little bit more space for Liz just to get that score.
Yeah, and Liz Hart one of the largest, fastest people on the field in any Ultimate game she's ever played in. It's very difficult to prevent her from sprinting as fast as she can to the front cone. You see teams in every iteration of Ultimate, they say deny the front cone, deny the front cone, deny the front cone. When you're put up against truly better athletes than you, that's easier said than done. And I think this a couple times that we've seen Philadelphia take advantage of having fast people sprint to open space. And I think the one thing I want to see Indianapolis adjust to is that end zone offense, maybe a poach, maybe a sag from the handler sets, something to make that front of the cone harder for Philadelphia to attack.
Hannah down on the mark.
Dudley to Gerentzer. Gerentzer to Phillips. And this red backfield, which has shepherded them through the game, continues to do so.
Looks like Surge is playing a bit of a chasing mark, and Indy's having no problem working it up the field.
Great throw down the sideline. Back to Phillips. Phillips to Dudley, Dudley to Milton, but that throw too high and bobbled by Skittles. It's a turnover for the Red.
Huge fake from, looks like Raha.
Yeah, Raha faked me out of my shoes. Casey Gorman in the backfield. Up the line to Raha Mozafari. Kat Harper to Yana Graham, but that disc dropped and Indianapolis will take over.
It's like just the curse of this point, off the hands for both teams.
Skittles throwing it over to Swenson. Swenson too big for Raha to get around. And that disc just past the bidding arms of Rachel Mast. Philadelphia will take back over. I'd love to see a replay of that if we get the chance. I know it's difficult because you're in the middle of the point, but I really thought Mast was going to get there. And it's just, must have carried in the wind just a smidgen too much.
And Skittles did such a good job with maintaining position on the cut she was making, too, just to have that opportunity. Would have loved to watch that again.
And it's Raha, Philly going deep, this time to Emma Soilis. Soilis tracking it down, another put it out in front of Emma.
Her defender right on her heels as she chases it, though.
Gorman to Kat Harper. Kat Harper finds Allie Milligan. Milligan throwing it in between everybody's legs to Kat Harper, and it's Kat Harper to Casey Gorman. Philadelphia breaks. 2 scores this quarter, both of them for the Surge. Not how you want to come out for the Red. Do you think Allie threw it through Skittles' legs here, or it just looked like that from up top?
I was like, just from up top.
That is a bummer, because boy, would it have been cool. Speaking of things that are cool, Adam Kraft with Cross Country Mortgage. Adam Kraft with Cross Country Mortgage is here to help you with all your mortgage needs and is also an amazing player and contributor to the Philadelphia Ultimate community. Adam has helped dozens of Philadelphia Ultimate community members buy their perfect home and also offers special programs for first-time buyers. Adam Kraft with Cross Country Mortgage. Something as sturdy as a good home mortgage. These backfields for these teams in the first half. And even in this game for the Red, it's not the backfield that's having problems. It's that second level. Their shots have been just a little bit too far to connect. So we see a slightly different line. Risa Umeno shifting over to the O-line. And we'll see if Indianapolis, can right the ship on this point.
Once again, Indy is doing a great job of spreading out the field. Puck opportunity for a score.
Big shot by Ariel Choi. Dog with 2 G's. That's what they call her. But that shot too far. It's going to be Benish Benjamin picking it up for Philadelphia. Yeah, it's tough with the wind to put a disc that high and have it not carry. Lane Dodge with a big backhand pump fake. A high release. Finds Lindsay McKenna. Taps her toes on the sideline.
who needs 2 working hands? Not Lindsay McKenna.
Yes, but she does have 2 working toes. Timeout
call.
Yeah, timeout to save the possession. Stall count rising. Another fun thing you can do in professional ultimate, call timeouts to reset the stall. Well, we said we needed Indy to come out, play hard defense, get the disc, and punch in goals. The problem is they have not had the opportunity to start on the D line. You need to score first, and I think we might have missed that in what we were saying. So what's going on with this Indianapolis Red O-line? Why are they struggling more in the second half than in the first?
You know, it definitely makes you wonder if how much of it is the Philadelphia Surge stepping up with their defense, grinding a little bit harder, and how much of it is just slight disconnections, either because of the wind or because of cutting. And he's doing a good job of stretching the field. But as we saw, that one throw just went a little high, just past the fingertips. And I'm just hoping to see if they can reel it in, play a little bit tighter, and get those scores going for Indianapolis.
Yeah, as the wind picks up, if you close down defensively on those handlers, it becomes harder and harder to find cutters downfield. We've got 3 turns from Indy this quarter. 1 was a drop. Drops happen. 2 were deep shots that carried a little too far in the wind because the players all those throws had to go away instead of to the player. Shields on the near sideline.
Wide open.
Shields finds Danielle Walsh. Danielle Walsh almost pushing those backhands into space to Liz Hart. Natalie Bova from Liz Hart. Walsh running all the way down. Now has 2 people in the end zone, and she'll give it to Emily Shields, who casually tosses the disc back into the middle after another surge break.
You know, it is no surprise that Shields is grinding on the field. We all know in Philadelphia that she is a great athlete. She has played on the Nationals, not only for USAU Nationals with Philadelphia AMP, but also at German Mixed Nationals, winning in 2022 with Freiburg Disconnections. However, something that I think is particularly interesting is that her intensity has followed her for quite a while. You know, she actually won an award for trying the hardest in gym in the 10th grade, which I personally think is a fantastic achievement. And to see her on the field now as a professional ultimate player is a treat.
Do you think that they knew when they were giving her an award in 10th grade for being a tryhard that she would one day try herself into professional athleticism?
You know, I have no idea what her teachers might have expected, but anyone can take a look at the effort that she puts in on the field and know that she's going to go far.
I promise you they weren't expecting this. Emma Soilis with the pull out of bounds. And Indianapolis Red will take it in at the brick. Almost like a touchback. For those of you on the stream that might not be familiar with a brick. We've got our reliable handler trio for the Red. Kristen Dudley, Lauren Gerentzer, and Samantha Phillips. Not reliable enough. I should stop complimenting people before they do good things. That disc too high and knocked down by Casey Gorman. The Surge with another opportunity for a break. Sarah Liang in the backfield. Finds Raha Mozafari. Raha looking deep for Kat. A big bid from Kat Harper, but that disc too far.
You can hear the disappointment in the crowd. Everyone just going, oh, as they see it just out of her reach.
Massive reaction from the crowd, and another downwind disc that just was not able to be completed. That's multiple Hucks we've seen go downwind that carried too much.
Indeed, with another opportunity on offense.
Samantha Phillips with the disc, hounded on the mark by Yana Graham.
Great patience.
Shani Rosenthal now on the far sideline. Trying to get it to Phillips. Too far for Phillips, but caught by Lauren Kitten. Kitten to Schwaniger. Schwaniger to Phillips, who stays in bounds. And Red have an opportunity. They're on the doorstep.
They're really flirting with that sideline over there.
Gerentzer now on the sideline. Another down the line shot to Phillips. Called not in by the observers. And Phillips with the flip in to Gerentzer, and the drought is quenched. Red score.
Very impressed with Indianapolis and their ability to stay chilled on that sideline. Didn't even need a break throw in order to get that score. Just worked it up nice and patient.
That's right, up line to up line to up line. And just when you thought they couldn't get any close to that sideline, I don't know how she was not called in. Clearly a goal for Phillips, but I'm sure Phillips will take the assist. Somehow finally gets a little bit of room on the fore side, tosses it right back to the corner for the goal.
Right now, it looks like score is 14-8 with Surge leading. Always an opportunity for Indianapolis to come back. We're just going to have to see what they do to try to keep their offense rolling, keep their defense, that intensity up.
We just got a great shot of the crowd, and from what we can see, there are several members in the crowd holding giant red signs and wearing big red shirts. And I don't think there's anything on them, so I can only assume that those are signs for the Indianapolis Red as the most effective sign they could think of, a big red sign. So fans traveling here for Indianapolis.
That is one thing I love about the Ultimate community is I feel like anywhere you go, you'll find people who either you've met or connected to someone that you've met in the community. We show up. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter where you went, you show up for the people that you support.
Indianapolis with this zone look again. They did get a break using it in the first quarter, but just the one break so far for Indianapolis. Andrea DeSabato with the disc. Finds Natalie Bova. And Bova floats it to Rachel Alfano. Great hands by Ralph. Spelled, I always spell it in my head, R-A-L-P-H. But I suppose it could be R-A-L-F. Andrea DeSabato. The mark from Timmons. A sliding one-handed grab from Danielle Walsh. Back to Bova. Bova to DeSabato. DeSabato to Hironet. Hironet coming all the way out of the deep space for that one. Bova to Dre. Dre to Bova. They do this a lot, Jaden.
You're going to say it over and over again. They're very patient. They're good at working with each other.
This is one thing that concerns me about this zone from Indianapolis. 14-8, that's a 6-point deficit. They do need to score points, and the zone takes up a lot of time.
Time isn't necessarily something you got a lot of excess of when it comes to professional ultimate. Looks like we still have about 3 minutes left on the clock. But yeah, if they take too long, they're going to miss out on offensive opportunities.
Yeah, still in the third quarter, so they do, obviously there is time left in the game, but as it's Natalie Bova going deep for Shields, and Shields putting Charlotte Wilson on her back, grabbing the disc and tossing it to Liz Hart for the goal. They wasted all that time, and they at least made this goal exciting. 15-8, Surge lead, and after just patience, nonstop patience, we see a shot from Natalie Bova to Emily Shields. And look at the box out from Shields.
It's funny, right before that shot, you can see one of the Surge players motioning with their hand, pushing players out to that deep space. Perfect opportunity for that little hop into this goal after Shields' catch.
That's the defense we see from someone that won an award in 10th grade for effort. Or the offense, excuse me. That's effort offense in the deep space. So, something that I was concerned about for Indianapolis coming into the game, something we have not seen yet. We had 2 hand blocks from Sarah Liang last week. Indianapolis was hand blocked 7 times in their home opener against Nashville. They've done a much better job tonight of stepping out and keeping Sarah Liang, but really everybody on the mark away from the disc. I really thought we were going to see another parade of point blocks, and that just has not been the case.
Indianapolis has been doing a good job of relying on the fundamentals, really making sure they're getting that. Oh!
A miscue as two cutters from Indianapolis were talking about that throw from Gerritzer, and Lane Dodge steps up and snaps it out of the air. And now it's Dodge going deep for Lindsay McKenna, who stabs it out of the air with her good hand. Captain hooked for the goal. another compliment for the Indianapolis Red handler core, leading to an immediate turn.
I think we're jinxing them.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop. Only mean things from now on from the broadcast booth as we get another replay of this incredible IO flick inside to outside from Lane Dodge to Lindsay McKenna. Another giant target in the deep space for this Surge team. Jaden, how are you supposed to defend against taller players being open deep? We've seen it from Indianapolis with some of their deep shots. We've seen multiple deep looks to Emma Soilis and Lindsay McKenna go off seemingly unguardable.
It's definitely a difficult position to go in, especially with tall, really fast, really athletic players who know what they're doing. We've seen it before, we've seen it again. These people, they're going to get those steps on you, and all you can really do is rely on your fundamentals with defense, getting good positioning, trying to catch up, working with your legs, and really pushing yourself as hard as you can to get back into the right position.
Well, 16-8 after that break as Schwaniger on the far sideline for Indianapolis. Schwaniger looking for the dump, finds Laura Gerentzer. Gerentzer to Dudley. Dudley to Phillips. Phillips with the pump fake. Finally pushing it downfield.
Great pump fakes, might I just say.
And Rachel Mast finds Phillips again. An opportunity to display more of those pump fakes. Phillips to Gerentzer. Gerentzer to Dudley.
Looks like they're trapped a little bit on the open side.
Sort of a reverse of what we just saw. Gerentzer and Dudley able to use their larger frames to box out the defenders. As now Skittles, their deep looker, but their look again, not close enough.
Tips of the fingers is always a rough time. Almost in your grasp, but not quite enough to catch that disc.
And it's another shot into this end zone that's out of reach for the Indianapolis offense, as Raha Mozafari will put it in for Philadelphia.
A timeout call called by Raha. Just have another word from our sponsor. Gina Weary of Remax Ready is proud to be our featured title sponsor for the 2024 Surge season. Gina is an expert realtor helping home buyers and sellers achieve their goals over the last 18 years. Gina serves clients in all of the surrounding counties, including Philadelphia. Gina is also a longtime Ultimate player and fan, starting her own Ultimate career in 1990. She has won FPSL Summer League 4 times, is a 2-time PATA board member, and her club career highlight was helping take the Philly Peppers to USAU Club semifinals in 1996. Gina donates to PATA after each real estate sale when working with a member of the Ultimate community. Contact Gina at Gina Weary or find her in the stands if you are present at tonight's game. GinaWeary.com. That's Gina, WHERRY.com. Definitely wonderful to have a local legend, as we keep calling her, like Gina. She's a fantastic person and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Ultimate and her experiences in it.
Yeah, lucky you got to interview her.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when she was the animal that she chose to answer Zachary Hunt's question. I actually genuinely do think a cat would be a great Ultimate player. I feel like the fluidity you see, especially at higher levels with players as they make decisions, as they commit, the flexibility they need as players, a cat's a good representation of that.
So we're seeing Indianapolis come out extremely aggressive on defense, and I like that. 41 seconds left in the quarter. Time running. 40 seconds left now. And they need to be aggressive here because one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to force a turn or they get scored on, hopefully with enough time left that they will receive the disc. Once time expires, then you can play contain, then you can try to force a lot of throws. But ideally, if you're Indianapolis, you want this turn to happen before that clock runs out. Just 15 seconds left. Natalie Bova on the far sideline. Bova to Andrea DeSabato. 6 seconds left.
DeSabato just puts one across the field to Shields. And it's Liz Hart to Rachel Alfano as the buzzer sounds for the Surge score.
Indianapolis is definitely finding themselves in a little bit of a difficult position right now. They're only 8 to Surge's, 17 at this point. They've got a lot of ground to make up if they're hoping to win this in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 16-8, and what a way. You don't need buzzer beaters in the PUL, but boy, is it fun to see them. Well, don't go anywhere, fans. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, fourth quarter action here at the Vetus Athletic Sports Complex.
And now for the... Make sure you're good. Absolutely nothing. The number is 0, 5,
Premier Ultimate sponsor Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. One of my favorite things to throw, Jaden. Discraft Ultrastars. Well, we're back here at the Vetus Athletic Complex in Drexel, in the heart of Philadelphia, for the fourth quarter. A very close game, blasted open in the third quarter as the Surge went on a run. It's now 17-8, a 9-point lead, pouring on points to the hapless Indianapolis Red, who are going to need quite the comeback, Jaden.
Surge fans are definitely in a good mood tonight. Personally, I do actually like watching close games. As a fan of the sport, I like seeing intensity. I like not knowing what's happening next. And I'm really hoping that Indianapolis comes back with a good show, so we just don't know what happens. They're going to have to keep up the intensity, keep on doing what they've been doing, containing the handlers of Surge, hoping to get faster turns and better offense so they can get that score closer.
Yeah, I think the part of the problem that they ran into in that third quarter is Philly's defense was just ruthlessly efficient once they had the disc. They might have turned it back once, right? That Yannick Graham drop. Every other time they touched the disc, it was a goal in the third quarter.
Conversions make a difference.
We saw in the Red Nashville Night Watch game a lot of turns from both offenses, and the points were slots and blinds. And if you're going to get the disc back as an offense, you can turn it over. But in this game, that's not the case. So the Red need to come out, clean offensive hold, and then the defense has to go as hard as they can to finish out the quarter because they have a lot of points to make up. 9 points is no small number of points to score in 12 minutes.
Definitely. There's one thing they can count on is that the weather's been holding good. They know what to expect from the wind. They've seen what Surge has been doing. They know what they need to do. It's just a matter of can they do it.
Well, it's Emma Soilis with the pull, about 75% of the field. And Kristen Dudley will kick us off. It's Schwaniger in the middle. Emily Schwaniger finds Gerenser, elevating for the grab, but gets it nonetheless. Gerenser directing traffic Low throw to Mast, who continues the low throws trend. This one up to Schwaniger. Schwaniger up line to Gerentzer, extending, who will look across the field for the goal.
Wide open shot for Indianapolis over the heads of a ton of people.
That's right, Gerentzer to Mast, and it was a quick goal. That's exactly what the Red need to keep this game close. 17-10, just 7 points. That's a lot less points. No, 17-9. Well, that's more points. That's 9 points. 8 points. I can't do math at all.
As every Ultimate player knows, math is really hard.
That's right. And keeping the score is for people on the field, not for me. 17-9, 11-11. Something else we need to see from the Red. I don't think they can afford to go zone. I do like what it's done to the offense. The problem is they can't afford a 2, 3, 4 minute point if they want to win this game. They need the turns to come quick, or the scores to come quick.
I definitely think you're right with that. I'm hoping that this first score is only showing us what's to come. I hope they dial in and really give Philadelphia Surge a run for their money. They've been a tough competitor, even though the score does not show it as well, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, those first 2 quarters were very close, very tight. It was just the flurry in the third. It was a little bit too much for Indianapolis to withstand. We'll see if they can claw their way back in. They just have the one break, so they've got plenty more to rack up, as it looks like they will come out in that zone. So not worried about the time yet. I guess as long as they can get some quick Ds, it'll be all right. Kelly Kirker, Mary Timmons, Brianna Burris continuing to apply pressure on the mark. It's basically just been a staring contest between Burris, Timmons, and Kirker on the Red, and Bova, Walsh, and DeSabato for Philadelphia.
Walsh had to get up there a little bit for that grab, keeping possession.
Yes, the tiptoe catch. A blade from Andrea DeSabato to Sarah Hiranet. Hiranet finds Walsh. Walsh to Liz Hart. Liz Hart with the IO bullet. And it's Shields in the back of the end zone for a Surge goal. 10 minutes left in the game.
Surge doing a great job there of keeping it just fast enough moving so that Indy couldn't get set again in their zone. And that's what they have to do to keep that score going up for them.
We saw that blade over the top, Andrea DeSabato to Sarah Hiranet. That's really what broke open this zone. And that is the downside to having so many people around the disc. That soft part right in the middle, and once you break it, it's very difficult as the defenders to get back in. On the flip side, that was a quick goal. Obviously, they would have wanted the D, but a minute is not a ton of time, and it lets their offense get back on the field, hopefully score again. A much more competitive game this week at Vitas than we saw 2 weeks ago against Milwaukee.
Definitely a rough one to watch for Milwaukee fans. The wind, the doubleheader with gridlock the night before. Rough time all around for the Monarch players.
A gridlock game that was awesome. A game they had an opportunity to win that game. They played really well. They had some incredible deep shots. A very exciting performance from Milwaukee.
Indy Red quick to get the disc going.
Mast on the near sideline.
I just love these fakes. They're just so beautiful. And he does a great job of keeping that moving.
Abby Swenson now with the disc. Skittles looking end zone. Finds Mast, who dives to save it, and it's a Red goal.
She's on the ground. Well, she's not anymore. She was.
A 30-second score from Indianapolis, Jaden. That's what they need to get back in the game.
Oh, it is so fun watching them dial it up.
That's right. The offense got the message. Score and score fast. As we see Swenson to Gerentzer. Garancer to Skittles, and Skittles finally with the all game, she just let me throw my lefty backhand. They forced her to throw those flicks. They haven't connected. The lefty backhand right into the end zone for Rachel.
It's definitely cool watching her create that space for the defender. Yeah, she had to lay out for it, but great movement as a downfield offense.
And this was when Indianapolis was clicking in the first half. It was using the full width of the field for those scores, throwing blades, OIs, over, around, and in between Philly defenders, and hitting the opposite corner for the goal. It's exactly what we need to see from Indianapolis to get into the game and claw their way back.
Looks like the PUL is ending a little bit before half-field center to Walsh.
Danielle Walsh to Liz Hart, unguarded. Liz Hart firing it anyways. Another back of the end zone grab. Rachel Alfano. 30 seconds. How about 20? It's Philadelphia in the end zone for the goal.
Surge fans in the stands wild for that. I mean, how could you not? A beautiful put, a great chase down by Ralph.
I was going to say it was dangerous to leave Liz Hart that open. She could just hold it forever. I did not expect her to immediately launch it into double coverage.
Great placement of the disc. Indy Red right there on the defense, but it's not close enough.
Mary Timmons, who we see applying pressure on the mark, fingertips away. But in the end, it's Rachel Alfano with the goal, and Philadelphia Surge maintain that 9-point cushion as we hit 9 minutes left in the game. I like that point a lot from both teams. Obviously, the score from Philadelphia, great offense, just finding and throwing to open people. But from Indianapolis, yes, they gave up the score. 20 seconds leaves them a ton of time. It's true, they'd rather obviously get the block, but that was a huck, and it only took 20 seconds to do it. As Indy takes back over.
Looks like Surge is back into a bit of a zone look for their defense. Indy's making quick work, moving it around between their handlers, keeping that disc moving so Surge is kept on their toes.
Phillips to Garancer, Garancer back to Phillips. And kind of the opposite of what we were saying about Indianapolis. Philadelphia doesn't need to get D's here. They just need to waste time.
It's definitely an interesting thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about club versus professionals. That time limit is something that you don't really see outside of professional ultimate. Definitely changes your gameplay strategy a little bit.
Phillips looking to break that mark, break that cup, doesn't find it, gets it to Duds. Duds back to Phillips. And Phillips now needs somebody, gets Garancer. And that throw from Garancer, unexpected, and it's off the hands of Samantha Phillips. Philadelphia with their first break opportunity of the quarter. Soilis with the shot to Ayadi Malave-Jones. Soilis gets it back. We've seen a lot of assists from Soilis tonight. Soilis to Lindsay McKenna. McKenna to Raha. Raha back to Emma Soilis.
Call in the field.
Contact call in the stack. Probably a pick. We just assume it's always a pick. The cutters will reset. Disc remains with Emma Soilis. That disc too high for Lindsay McKenna. Ripped out of the air by Swenson.
Great D by Swenson. Beautiful to watch. And a cool throw all the way across the field.
Shawnee Rosenthal gets the disc from Swenson. Swenson wants it, but she's miles away from the disc. That would be a very difficult throw. Samantha Phillips with it instead. Phillips to Duds.
And he's got to keep it moving, and they are. Nice arcing throw to open. Oh, it's continuing on.
Rachel Mast's disc swatted away from Lindsay McKenna, using the injured hand to knock it out of the air. Captain Hook, more like Captain Clutch. Big blocks from Lindsay McKenna. as Raha picks it up for Philadelphia. Raha finds Casey Gorman. Casey Gorman with the low shot and a collision. As both players go to the ground for the disc.
Looks like they're chalking it out.
Scary play there. Rachel Mast and Lindsay McKenna colliding frontwards. You never want to see a frontwards collision. McKenna with the foul call. They're going to agitate it. They get 20 seconds to discuss, and then they have to go to the observers. The observers will make the ruling. It's also tricky because McKenna's really only using one hand to catch, and it's her left hand. So when that disc comes out, she's got to go all the way back through her and Rachel Mast's body. Probably what Mast is saying. Rachel Mast had the line. But that contact did happen. And Lindsay probably feels that her space was the space that Mast had to come into. So 20 seconds is definitely elapsed. They need to go to the observers here for a ruling. Be cool if the observers were mic'd. What would you say, Jaden?
Honestly, I wasn't able to watch close enough. I'm at an angle where I got to see a little of the sideline right into where they were bidding. I'm definitely interested to see what the outcome is.
Yeah, well, we saw the arms waved by Joe Campbell, initially signaling no foul, but it looks like the observers will confer, so Chris Zaleski and Chris Vanny now discuss it.
Here we see it again. Yeah, tough call.
Yeah, it looks like the foul call overturned by the observers. And so it's Duds who will pick it up.
Back into live play.
Indianapolis Red with the disc.
Looks like a double cut there by Indy Red, but it's fine.
Yeah, Philadelphia setting up their zone. Duds knifing through it. Garrentser knifing through it. Back to Phillips.
It's always fun watching when a call happens, teams being able to pick up right where they're at, same intensity level. Going hard.
And after seeing minute-long points, 30-second, 20-second points, this point has taken nearly 4 minutes already as Phillips looks end zone. Too far for Swenson. Lindsay McKenna was in Abby Swenson's pocket, so it would have had to be an incredible play. Unable to make it, Philadelphia will pick up. And it looks like with just 5 minutes remaining, Philly's defense will pick up the disc once again. Emma Soilis gets it. That disc too low. Another block for Rachel Mast on McKenna. And now the disc to Mast. And it's Mast again, the trilogy for Rachel Mast. 2 blocks and the goal on Lindsay McKenna. And after nearly 5 minutes of grinding, sweaty, brutal ultimate, the Red get the hold.
Nice bookends. And it's points like these where you really can see that winning with your legs, keeping up the intensity, ultimate can be just as much of a mental game as it is a physical one. Calls happen, there's delays, there's all sorts of things that throw your way. Being able to keep your head in the game and making the moves you need to do to have outcomes like what we just saw, that's really what it's all about, you know?
Smart people like you say it's a mental game. Dummies like me see pinpoint throws by Kristen Dudley and just gutty defensive plays by Rachel Mast. And I don't know, I don't see any brain at all there. I think that was all beautiful, beautiful brawn. Massive plays, huge throws, big money ultimate. That's what we get here in the PUL. Just a rocket from Duds to Mast. And this quarter has been, for the most part, equal between Philadelphia and Indianapolis. The problem for Indianapolis is there's just 4.5 minutes remaining.
I'm really loving that half field, slightly short of half field mark for these polls.
I don't mind it. Either score quick or you get the D. But right now, time is the enemy. as Walsh overthrows Natalie Bova. A miscue, a quick turn. Risa Umeno with the disc. Finds Chuck Wilson, back to Umeno.
Umeno's unmarked.
Walsh finally jogs back into play. Makeda Maddie-Moore over to Chuck Wilson. Charlotte Wilson with the fakes. Timeout called by Indianapolis. Their defense finally gets a block. They do not want to waste it. And they will sub somebody on here. Probably offensive players, I would assume. You're looking at the fun facts, Jaden. What can you tell us about
I am
this red
looking at
team?
the fun facts. Well, one of the names we've been saying a lot today, Risa Umeno. I'm actually just reading that she can perform the backwards worm.
It's incredible.
Right?
Now, is the backwards worm, you wiggle your body and go feet direction?
You know, I'm not confident enough to tell you which way it is. I thought I knew, but the second you asked that question, unsure.
I feel like most worms I see humans do go backwards.
Yeah.
But I don't know the front ways for a worm because they don't have eyeballs. So I am not sure which way is front. This is not the most relevant talk to what's going on the field. Indy with a great D. It was a miscue, right? They didn't touch the disc. But a block on the field is not the same as a block in the stat sheet. They got the disc. Their defense did its job. Their offense now needs to score fast. 3 minutes, 51 seconds remaining, an 8-point difference. Even if it's just for point differential purposes, every point matters in the PUL. It's just a 6-game series. Only the top 2 teams make it. Tiebreakers are very, very important.
Right. We've said a lot about patience this game, and especially in the earlier quarters, and sometimes you just don't have the time for it when it comes to professional games in the PUL. Looks like they're doing a good job of quickly moving, trying to keep it so Surge isn't holding in place, using all the field.
A zone look for Philly, trying to grind clock. They forced Indy to spend 5 minutes on that hold. As Phillips has the disc now on the far sideline, finds Garancer, back to Phillips. Phillips to Garancer. Garancer waltzing into the cup. Garancer. Phillips. Phillips. Garancer. Garancer has Skittles in the backfield. Skittles with like a two-handed hurl. Back over to Phillips. Now in Kristen Dudley's hands. I'd like to see the Red attack some of the soft middle space, sort of like that blade that we saw from Dre on the Surge do, to blow up in their zone point. And a drop from Skittles.
Rough to see it for Red fans, but they're hopping right in on defense.
Sarah Liang and Raha Mozafari now orchestrating the Philadelphia break attempt.
Nice snag.
The lefty snag from Sarah Liang. The quick dish to Emma Soilis, and that is a Surge goal. It's just a hold because they started on offense, and then the timeout, they switched all the personnel. Confused me. But another long point as the Surge score. 20-11, 2 minutes, 23 seconds. At this point, you're playing for point diff. So do you want one long possession that ends with a goal? The buzzer now counts. It's the fourth quarter, so the buzzer matters. Or do you try to score quickly if you're the Red and hope to get your defense back out there for another break opportunity?
I mean, as an Ultimate player, I'm always for the more points you can play, the better. As a watcher, I don't really know what I'm hoping for. I mean, I definitely liked watching closer games. I'd love to see how close Indy Red could take it before we end with our quarter, but I don't know what their strategy is going to be coming out for this. They are receiving, so we're going to see their own line. I wonder what Surge is going to put on for their defense, see what they have to work through.
So we did see incredible handler defense from both teams today. Again, a theme of these Philadelphia Surge games has been handler defense, and it was incredible to see the Red step up to the plate. I'd like to see one more possession from these Red handlers to move through kind of this soft, saggy defense that Philadelphia has debuted to kill clock in the fourth quarter. Rachel Mast with it. Mast finds Phillips. Phillips back to Mast.
A little bit of a dribble there.
Dribbling down the field. It's basketball playoffs. The NBA finds Garancer. Garancer to Duds. Kristen Dudley with the blade over to Mast. Mast elevating for the grab.
Hammer. Oh, just too far.
Shani Rosenthal out the back of the end zone. And Philadelphia takes over. A minute 30 left. The clock now stops on out-of-bounds discs in the final 2 minutes. Great job by our clock operator, Colin McIntyre, knowing the rules before doing his job.
We love to see one know what to do with what they're doing.
Rules are important as Addie Malave-Jones gets it up to Casey Gorman.
Oh, no. It's like a trip. Something happened on the field. Potential injury?
An injury and perhaps a foul as Casey went to pivot. The Red player ran right into that outstretched knee, a knee to hip. Josh McCune, the trainer, is out there immediately. Incredible trainer, Josh McCune. And it looks like he's stretching it out. So not a pull, right? You don't stretch a pull. That's good to see.
Always hoping that any injury call is preventative, checking in rather than anything bad happening.
Yeah, Phillips walks off on her own power, not particularly hobbled. And we'll get Makeda Maddymore in as the replacement as Phillips continues to work that leg on the sideline.
This is back in. Oh, a little bit of a misconnection. Surge.
Maddymore with the big mark and an immediate turn from Casey Gorman.
Unmarked, Indy Red.
Schwaniger now. Back to Dudley. Dudley with the high release, and it's reeled in by Claire Skittles Milton for the score. 1 minute remaining, 20-12. Philadelphia lead.
There's nothing better than watching teams make good decisions, making interesting plays, and just playing hard, honestly. You know, good effort is always fun to watch. Even the patience that we've seen in earlier points where they're just going back and forth with their handlers, those high releases that we've seen more recently, like, it's just so fun to watch.
Absolutely. Under the lights, on a beautiful field, fans in the stands. This is how Joel Silverstein intended Ultimate to be played, the inventor of Ultimate. Now a big famous Hollywood producer. When he was throwing pie tins around Yale campus or wherever goofball place, they invented this sport. I believe that one day they imagined that it would be the PUL.
Up goes the Huck.
Huck and
I'm
pull.
by pull.
No, every pull's a Huck. Not every Huck is a pull.
Pass half field. Good pull by Indy Red.
Laura Kitten on the mark. Trying to contain Walsh. Walsh finds Natalie Bova with the backhand blade to Shields. Shields has really been the outlet. And it's Brianna Burris running by that gets the D. Kind of a butt block.
Woo, and it's up. Big, another D by Surge. Danielle Walsh.
Walsh turns quicker than Wyckoff and finds that disc. Just 35 seconds remaining. Low throw to Bova. Bova finds Shields again. The outlet is surging as it's here net into the end zone. The bid from Liz Hart, and what a goal!
I know you can't hear it in the broadcast, but the stands are going wild.
Oh, I bet
so much cheering.
I bet they can. Greg Matilio on that camera, on that mic's got it pointed right at the stands.
Nice.
Greg, they can't see you on camera, but if you can hear us, give a wave. There he goes waving. What a grab. What a stick of butter on top of the pancake that is this game for Philadelphia.
One whole stick of butter?
One whole stick, that Liz Hart layout for the score.
I can't wait to see the photos that come from this game. Both for Surge players and for Indy. I feel like there's got to be so many opportunities of just beautiful, beautiful photos to come.
Well, Diana Hung, Brian Caniff, and Sandy Canetti on the sidelines taking photos for this game. Really all incredible ultimate photographers. Diana is on a Worlds team, so too young to make the roster this year, but maybe we'll see her next year donning that Surge uniform. This year we just see her with the camera. We can see her there in the pink, conferring to Brian Caniff, another one of the excellent Surge photographers. 23 seconds left. Indianapolis,
Looks like they're close to the sideline.
where they've lived all game. Phillips to Dudley. Dudley to Schloniger. Schloniger to Shawnee Rosenthal. 10 seconds left.
We've seen that we know that Red has good. Oh, and it's up for a.
It's a shot from Dudley, reeled in by Emma Soilis. Have herself a game, Emma Soilis. And that'll do it here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia Surge 21, Indianapolis Red 12. The first half was super close. That third quarter was kind of a runaway freight train for this Philadelphia defense. Philadelphia improves 2-0. The Red will fall to 1-1. Philadelphia now takes first place in the division.
Rough first away game for Red. They did play fantastic. Sometimes I feel like the score is not always as representative of what you see on the field. Did wish they were able to put in a little bit better of the numbers. Sometimes it is just the way it is. Surge with fantastic playing, great movement, great Ds. Good night to be a Surge fan.
Yeah, incredible. And Indianapolis, I think, has a lot to build on. Much more competitive a game tonight than we saw from Milwaukee, even if the score does not necessarily reflect how close that first half was. Incredible defense, particularly on the handlers. A lot of high pressure execution by the Surge to win this game in the manner that they did.
I definitely look forward to seeing what both teams do as they get further along in the season. We're only on week 4. 20 more weeks to go.
Here they go. Let's give it up.
Well, thank you so much for everybody that tuned in tonight. I want to give you a big thank you. Thank you to everybody that made this broadcast possible, our camera crew, our producers. Thank you to everybody that makes the PUL, the Premier Ultimate League, such a joy to watch. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here in June.